Liam Spencer and Hope Logan share a history that is as rich in passion as it is in heartbreak. Their journey has been one of highs and lows, of deep love intertwined with moments of immense pain. From the first spark of attraction to the dramatic separations and reconciliations, their relationship has never been anything short of complicated. As they face a new, heartbreaking chapter with Liam's terminal illness, old feelings are stirred, memories resurface, and the possibility of healing and redemption hangs in the air. The question on everyone's mind is simple, yet profound. Can Hope and Liam finally come to terms with their past and embrace the future they've always deserved, or will their love story end in bittersweet closure? Hope's emotional journey has always been one of finding balance between what she feels and what she believes is right. When Liam's health takes a drastic turn for the worse, Hope is faced with a difficult decision: to stay by his side, not just for him, but for their daughter, Beth. But as time ticks away, she finds herself drawn to Liam once again in a way that she hasn't felt for years. The connection they once shared, one that transcended arguments and separations, begins to resurface. Each touch, each shared glance, and each quiet moment spent together stirs something deep inside her. Hope cannot deny the magnetic pull she feels toward Liam, and though she knows that his time is running out, she also knows that this time, things feel different. She is not just here for him out of obligation, but because the love they shared, the love that once felt so intense, so perfect, is still alive within her. Liam's deteriorating condition only intensifies their emotional connection. There are no more games to play, no more waiting for the right moment. Time is slipping away, and Hope knows that every second counts. She finds herself questioning everything. Is this really the end of their love story, or is there a chance for redemption, for healing, for reconciliation? She has already been through so much: the turmoil of their past, the choices they made, the painful separations. Yet, here she is, standing by his side again, and in doing so, she starts to realize that perhaps this was always where she was meant to be. Hope's presence in Liam's life, especially now, becomes a comforting constant. As Liam faces the harsh reality of his impending death, he draws strength from her unwavering support. Her gentle words, her quiet smiles, her unspoken understanding, these things have always been his anchor, even when their relationship seemed impossible. But as the days go on and the severity of his condition becomes more apparent, Hope finds herself more deeply entangled in Liam's world. The love they once shared feels new again, wrapped in a different kind of urgency, a desire to make the most of what little time they have left. At first, Hope's commitment to Liam is driven by a sense of duty to their daughter, Beth. But the more she stays, the more she begins to remember what made their relationship so powerful in the first place. They have a shared history, a deep emotional bond that cannot be erased by time or distance. And as Liam's health continues to decline, Hope's feelings for him evolve once again. She realizes that she is not just the mother of his child, she is also the woman he loved and still loves in a way that cannot be denied. The feelings are raw, unfiltered, and painfully beautiful. Hope cannot ignore the pull that Liam still has on her heart, and despite the looming specter of loss, she is willing to face it, knowing that their love was worth every second. However, the situation is not as simple as it seems. There is another layer to this complicated love story: the presence of Carter Walton. The emotional devastation that Carter has caused in Hope's life cannot be overlooked. He betrayed her, and the scars of that betrayal run deep. But Carter, too, is feeling the weight of loss, the realization that the woman he once loved is slipping through his fingers once again, this time into the arms of a dying man. As he watches Hope stand by Liam, he knows that the chance for them to be together has passed. Carter is filled with regret, but his attempt to reconcile with Hope only falls flat. Hope cannot simply erase the pain he caused her, nor can she ignore the deep, undying connection she shares with Liam. Carter's presence, though comforting at times, becomes a painful reminder of what could have been and what is now beyond her reach. Despite Carter's attempts to reclaim Hope's heart, it is clear that Hope's focus is solely on Liam. Her every thought, her every action is geared toward ensuring that he feels loved, supported, and cared for in his final days. There is a quiet, unspoken understanding between them, a recognition that this time together, though short-lived, is the most important time they will ever have. Liam, too, has come to terms with the fact that his time is running out. But before he goes, he has one final wish: for peace between Hope and Steffy. For years, the two women have been at odds, fighting over Liam and the future they both thought they would have with him. But now, as the end draws near, Liam asks for one thing: that Hope and Steffy find a way to heal their wounds, to reconcile their differences, and to ensure that their children will not grow up in a world of bitterness and resentment. Liam's request is a daunting one, but Hope, moved by the gravity of the situation, agrees to try. Steffy, too, recognizes the importance of Liam's final wish, and though the process of reconciliation is slow and painful, the two women begin to work toward a fragile peace. They start with small steps: joint parenting decisions, conversations about their shared love for Liam and their children, and the acknowledgement that they both want what is best for the future. The road to healing is long, but with Liam's encouragement and Finn's patient support, Hope and Steffy begin to bridge the gap that had once seemed insurmountable. As the days pass, Hope finds herself growing closer to Liam in ways she never expected. Their past may have been filled with twists and turns, but in these final moments, they are able to come together in a way that feels like a culmination of everything they have ever been through. Their love, though tested, remains strong, unbreakable, even in the face of death. The memories of their past, the pain, the joy, the heartbreak, it all comes rushing back in a flood of emotion. But instead of pushing them apart, it binds them together in a way that no one, not even time, can tear asunder. But with the end drawing near, Hope is faced with a difficult truth. She must let Liam go. The thought of losing him, of saying goodbye to the man who had once been her everything, is nearly unbearable. But she knows that this is part of the journey, part of the love story that they have lived and will continue to live, even beyond his death. As Liam's health continues to deteriorate, Hope becomes more resolute in her decision to stay with him, to honor his wishes, and to be there for him until the very end. The final days are a bittersweet blur. Hope's love for Liam reaches new heights, as does her commitment to ensuring that their daughter, Beth, grows up knowing the strength and depth of the bond they shared. The relationship that had once seemed fractured, full of uncertainty, is now an enduring symbol of love, loss, and the beauty of second chances. Hope stands by Liam's side, holding his hand, reminding him of the love they shared, even as the darkness closes in around them. As Liam passes away, Hope is left with a heavy heart but a profound sense of peace. She knows that their love, though short-lived in the grand scheme of time, was real, powerful, and unshakable. And as she moves forward in life, she will carry that love with her, as well as the memory of the man who was her destiny. Their story may have ended in tragedy, but in many ways, it will continue to live on in Hope's heart, in the legacy of their daughter, and in the love that even death could not erase. In the end, Liam and Hope's love story proves that sometimes, even in the most painful of endings, there is beauty to be found. Taylor Hayes was no stranger to heartache, but the news she received about Liam Spencer was more than she had ever expected. Liam, the father of Steffy's children, was dying. He had been diagnosed with an inoperable brain tumor, a cruel diagnosis that gave him little time to live. Taylor's first reaction was pure sorrow, her heart aching for Steffy, for Liam, and especially for his children, Kelly and Beth. Steffy, her daughter, had been through so much already in her life: the loss of her father, the battles with her past relationships, and now the looming loss of Liam. Taylor couldn't fathom the depth of the pain Steffy was enduring as she faced the impending loss of the man she once loved, and she felt a deep sorrow for Kelly and Beth, the young girls who would lose their father at such a tender age. Taylor's thoughts turned quickly to the reality of the situation. Both of Liam's daughters were so young, and the thought of them growing up without their father was almost too much to bear. The image of Kelly, still so small, struggling with such a loss, was enough to break anyone's heart. But it wasn't just the children that Taylor worried about. As Steffy's mother, Taylor understood the gravity of what her daughter had done. Steffy had made a difficult decision, one that conflicted with Liam's wishes. Liam had insisted that no one else should know about his terminal condition. He didn't want to burden anyone with the truth. But Steffy, despite her father's wishes, had shared the heartbreaking news with Hope Logan, Liam's estranged wife and the mother of his child, Beth. Steffy believed that Hope deserved to know the truth, that she should be given the opportunity to prepare for the inevitable. In Steffy's mind, this was the only right thing to do, and she couldn't let Liam's desire for secrecy override the necessity of hope for the future. Taylor's first instinct was to empathize with Steffy's choice. She understood why Steffy had made the decision to tell Hope. She knew it was done out of love and a desire to protect both Hope and Beth from the shock of losing Liam without any warning. But as a mother, Taylor couldn't help but wonder if Steffy had crossed a line. Liam had made it clear that he didn't want anyone to know. He wanted to control the narrative, to face this battle on his own terms, with only his closest family and friends by his side. Steffy, however, had felt that Hope deserved to know the truth. Hope had the right to understand the gravity of the situation and to begin processing the overwhelming reality of what was to come. Taylor was deeply torn. On one hand, she admired Steffy for her courage and her commitment to doing the right thing, but on the other hand, Taylor knew how much this would hurt Liam. His trust in Steffy had been fragile, especially after everything they had been through. But in this moment, Steffy had chosen what she believed to be the most compassionate course of action, one that would allow Hope to have the time to say goodbye and prepare for the unimaginable loss of Liam. But did that mean Steffy had betrayed Liam's trust? Taylor's heart ached for Steffy. The guilt that would come with making such a decision, even though she had done it out of love and compassion, was sure to be crushing. Steffy had wanted to protect her family, to allow Liam's daughters to prepare for the loss of their father. But she had gone against Liam's wishes, and Taylor knew that in Liam's eyes, that was a breach of trust. Yet, at the same time, Taylor recognized that Steffy had acted with the best intentions. She hadn't done it to hurt Liam, but to ensure that Hope could prepare for the inevitable. As a mother, Taylor could only imagine how painful that decision was for her daughter. The more Taylor thought about it, the more conflicted she became. As a psychologist, she had seen countless cases of families torn apart by secrets, by unspoken truths, and by the fear of facing difficult realities. But Steffy had made a choice that would allow everyone to begin healing, even if it meant breaking a promise to Liam. And for Taylor, that was the hardest part. She couldn't help but wonder how Liam would react when he found out that Steffy had shared the truth with Hope. Would he ever forgive her? Or would it be another chapter in their already complicated relationship, one more thing that drove them further apart? Despite her concerns, Taylor knew that Steffy had acted out of love. She had acted as a mother, a protector, and as someone who wanted to make sure that Hope and Liam's children would have time to say goodbye, to process, and to grieve. And though Taylor worried for Steffy's emotional well-being, she also realized that the emotional turmoil she was facing was nothing compared to the devastation Liam was enduring. Taylor had seen the effects of terminal illness before, and she knew that Liam's situation was dire. He had no control over the situation. And that lack of control, that powerlessness, was the hardest part of all for someone like Liam. It wasn't long before Taylor saw the effects of the decisions that had been made. Liam's health continued to deteriorate rapidly, and his emotional state was fragile. One day, after seeing Liam struggling to keep himself composed, Taylor approached him. She had seen the signs of his deteriorating health: dizziness, a loss of strength, and knew it was only a matter of time before he would no longer be able to hide it from everyone. Liam had always been a proud man, unwilling to show weakness, but Taylor could see the truth behind his eyes. In a quiet, private conversation, Liam opened up to Taylor about his frustrations. He had wanted to control the narrative of his illness, to keep it a secret, but now the truth was out. He felt betrayed by Steffy, though he understood why she had told Hope. He just didn't want anyone else to suffer because of his fate. He wanted to protect everyone, especially Hope and the children, from the pain that he was experiencing. Taylor listened patiently, her heart heavy with empathy. She understood Liam's desire to protect his loved ones, but she also knew that the time for secrets had passed. It wasn't just about Liam anymore. It was about the people who depended on him, the people who needed to say goodbye, to grieve, and to heal. As much as Liam wanted to protect them, the truth had to come out. Taylor reassured Liam that Steffy had done the right thing, despite the personal cost. She reminded him that this was a time for everyone to come together, not to push each other away. Despite the pain, Taylor's support for Liam was unwavering. She knew that Steffy had made a choice that was difficult, but one that would ultimately be for the best. And as Steffy faced the guilt of having told Hope, Taylor was there to guide her. She reassured Steffy that she had made the right decision, that Hope deserved to know, and that the entire family needed to face this together. In the midst of all the turmoil, Taylor's role as a mother, both to Steffy and to Liam, was more important than ever. She knew that the coming days would be filled with difficult decisions, emotional confrontations, and the kind of heartache that could tear a family apart. But she also knew that through it all, love would be the only thing that could hold them together. And as the reality of Liam's condition became ever more apparent, Taylor was determined to be there for both Steffy and Liam, to help them navigate this impossible journey with as much grace, compassion, and understanding as she could offer. With Steffy's support and Taylor's unwavering guidance, they faced the most difficult chapter of their lives. And as Liam's time grew shorter, Taylor was prepared to stand by her family, helping them through the darkness, knowing that, despite the pain, love would always be the light that guided them forward.